Hello everyone, my name is Jay, and I'm the author of the upcoming WildCraft mod, and today I want to demonstrate some of the spawn mechanics that we will be seeing in the mod. So you can see that right here I have on the right, I have two vanilla wolves, and on the left I have two WildCraft wolves. And you can see already that these guys are vastly different colors than these two, who are both the same, and that is one of the biggest things that will be introduced with the WildCraft mod. Now keep in mind, everything you see here is work in progress. Things may change, and these guys may not look exactly like they do here in the final version. So let me go ahead and I'll show you here. We have our WildCraft wolf spawn egg. I'll spawn a bunch of them in, and you can already see that there is a huge variety of different looks here. We're getting mostly gray ones, but the one that's in there is a red one. You can see some of them have white on them, and this is all based off of real canine genetics. There's a brown one, but this is all based off of real canine genetics to a simplified degree, but from what is understood of it and from what I've been able to research, this is based off of accurate real-life genetics, as much as we know at least. And so you can see some of them can be brown, some of them can be gray, some of them can be varying shades of gray, or even pure black. There is pure white. I don't know if we'll get one. They're pretty rare in the natural spawns for just the default. But as you guys will see in a little bit here, the spawn colorations and the genetics you may see in wolves that spawn in can vary substantially depending on the biome. So right now we're in a super flat world. We're in the plains, and you can see we've got mostly just a variety of browns and grays, and some black, and some with white on them. And this is not all of the genetics that you can find either. There's already a lot of variety, but there are some genetics that you can really only get through breeding because they don't show up dominantly on the wild wolves. So there's definitely more to it than this, and I'm definitely also still coding in a lot of the genetics and getting a lot of it the different markings all put together texture-wise as well. Textures are dynamically generated as well, so there are literally hundreds of options for different looks, and even as you can see, there's, I think, 3 eye colors here currently, and there's going to be loads more. They won't all be blue. I just have that color here because it happened to be convenient. It happened to be the one I was done with. But anyway, let's go ahead and we will switch to another world, and I'll show you guys some of the dynamic biome genetics in action. Okay, so now we are in the ice plains in another world, and I just want to show you how different the wolves look when you spawn them in a different biome. So you see we have some gray, but we start seeing a lot of this white coat, and we're seeing there's one brown wolf, but they tend to not be a very brown in coloration. They tend to be white or light gray, and even this brown wolf that is here is a fairly light shade. So there's actually code that determines which coloration spawn. You can see the white is very dominant here, and there's actually code set up to make the coats that do spawn be lighter in coloration, so you're a lot more likely to find very light gray, maybe light brown. It's pretty uncommon, but you may see it. And you may still find the odd black wolf here, but the odds are very, very slim, and you'll probably have to look for a long time or get extremely lucky, because you can see, out of all the ones we're spawning, not only are the vast majority white, but we're seeing hardly any darker colors at all. I think this guy over here so far is the closest that we've gotten. And so you can see that we're definitely seeing a huge dominance in the very, very light white ones, and that is what you probably expect to see up in the Arctic areas. You do see a lot of light-colored wolves, and so depending on where you travel in the world, you may find different types of wolves and different looks, and you might find some genetics in some areas that you might want to breed in to a population that you started with wolves in other areas. So there's definitely a huge incentive to explore the world, and this will not just be for wolves. Eventually the goal is to expand out into other animals as well, but I'm starting with the wolf because that's, I think, the main one that has been in need of a rework. That and the cats. Cats are next. But for now, this is going to hopefully be a very solid start. And what are they all? They're all venturing up that way for some reason. But anyway, so this is the Arctic variation, and there are other ones as well, and I'll go ahead and show you guys a few of those. Okay, so here we are in the desert, and you may notice that there actually are a few wolves running around already, and we actually do have a small chance of them spawning here in the desert. There are some wolves that do live in deserts, although they do tend to be fairly uncommon. So you might find a few roaming around. Hopefully not this many. I'm going to try and balance spawning a little bit more for the final version of WildCraft, or at least the future releases of it. But for now, it is a little bit unbalanced, and that'll be part of what the testing phase is about. But you can see here as we get our spawn egg, and you probably have already noticed from these guys that they're looking a little bit different than the wolves you've seen elsewhere. We definitely are seeing a much higher occurrence of brown wolves here, and that is intentional. It helps them blend in with the sand and with their environment. And so you'll definitely see a lot more brown and gray wolves than you will very, very white or very, very black wolves. They're going to be kind of more in the middle, and you're going to see a variety of different shades here. Even though you may not find very many wolves, they do spawn with less frequency, and they spawn in fewer numbers here. So you can see, though, you're definitely seeing a lot more of the brown colorations. You're seeing some gray as well, and you'll just end up seeing a bit of a different mix here. Now, this is not the only other variation. Oh, and there's a black wolf too. That's pretty uncommon, so we got a little bit lucky there. But this is not the only variation, and there will be even more than the ones I'm going to show you here. But for now, I want to show you one last different spawn group that results in some different colorations than the ones you've seen up until this point. And so I'm going to go ahead and we'll switch over to that game now, and I will show you some more of the spawn mechanics. Okay, so here we are in the Rift Forest. And this is a very, very dark environment, and as such, if you do happen to see wolves spawning in these areas, you'll notice that there are going to be a lot of very black and very dark colored wolves that will spawn. In fact, all of them up until this guy here have been black, and then we have some very, very dark gray. There is a much higher percentage of black and dark colored wolves that you'll see spawning in here than anywhere else. This guy is actually an anomaly. He's going to be pretty rare. You're probably not going to see many like him here. We do have some lighter colored ones, but for the most part, you can see you're getting a lot of very dark colored wolves. Now, we can actually see a very, very pronounced example of the spawn mechanics if we just come over a few feet away into the plains here, because you'll start to see there's an immediate and huge difference in the wolves spawned in the plains as compared to the ones that are spawning over in the Rift Forest. You'll see a lot more light colors, and if we come back over here to the Rift Forest, you'll start seeing more dark colors, and you could literally just run along the edge here, and you can see where the transition is. So we're in the plains now, and here we're in the Rift Forest, and we're back in the plains, here we're in the Rift Forest. And you can see sometimes there's a little bit, sometimes you'll see anomalies, but for the most part, certain genetics do tend to be disposed to certain biomes. Now, what you will see and what this will serve as is an incentive to explore, because if you're trying to breed for a certain trait, you may find that a lot of your population doesn't have that trait, and you may have to venture quite far away from home to be able to find it. And so this definitely will promote exploration, and it will hopefully give you more of an incentive to explore the world. So you may have noticed a few other things aside from the different coat colors and the generation of patterns and such in this video, and I'll leave that up to you to explore. I'm not going to talk about it today, but I definitely will. Either you'll see it in the final release, or I may do videos on it in the future. So I hope this has you guys excited for WildCraft. I do apologize for how long the progress has been taking. I am a college student and a YouTuber and a lot of other things, and so WildCraft is certainly not my only project, but I am working on it, and I hope to have it releasable at some point in the near future. So I hope you guys are looking forward to this, and I do intend to work with some of the other animals too, and not just with wolves. I'm just starting with them because I have the best grasp of their genetics as compared to the other animals. And if you guys like this kind of mod, then I definitely suggest you guys check out the Animania mod as well, because that one is pretty awesome. I hope someday that I'll be able to make this mod compatible with this one, or with that one, and because of that, I'm probably not going to focus as much on the farm animals as I will be focusing on the, quote, pets, as opposed to, like, cows or pigs or whatnot. I'll be focusing more on the dogs and cats, and then eventually adding other animals and even wild animals. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for future updates. I will be trying to update more frequently as I have progress that I'm ready to release. And so definitely keep your eyes out on that. Hopefully we'll have a working version of the mod playable within the near future, within these coming months, but I don't want to set a release date just yet because sometimes coding takes a lot longer than you anticipate it will. So anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Hang tight until the next one, and don't forget to check up on the thread in the forums because I will probably be updating that a little bit more often than I update with the videos, because sometimes that's a little bit easier than making a video. So definitely make sure to go and check that out. I'm going to wrap this up here and get back to my coding, but I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.